Uh, I'm pretty excited today to welcome all of you folks to our first community call. The idea and agenda behind this community call is very different from our usual webinars that you may be accustomed to. In this call, we will be going over our recent product launches, the vision behind them, and also share important updates with you so that our community and users are aware about what the Locofy team is doing behind the scenes. Recently, we have released some major software updates and we will make some impactful changes to our team. And to share with you more on these items, I'm happy to introduce our co-founders who are here on this call as panelists. We have co-founder and CPO Hani, and we also have co-founder and CTO Sohaib with us.
Hi everyone.
So without wasting any further time, I'll let them take over and share the key updates with what's happening with Locofy.
Great. Thank you so much, Anurag, and a very good evening from Singapore. Let me first start by thanking everyone on the call today and anyone listening in. I think we are where we are today because of our community. I think the time you've taken to try the product, to tell your friends about it, to also share your feedback with us is valuable to us because we've kept the product for free because we believe it has a long way to go. But I think with your help, we're getting closer to that goal on a I would say on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. So before I give you an update about what we've launched recently, I wanted to share some great news. This week we announced a round of funding, which is about $4.5 million or so from some key investors, including Northstar, Axel, and some very well-known investors. But more importantly, something that we're super proud of is that builders like yourselves, like ourselves, very well-known builders of companies such as Dropbox, Ola in India, Lottie Files, Zopim, and even Hasura have also shown their support for what we are building because they understand the problem and they relate to it, and I think they believe in the team. So at the same time, we've also strengthened our engineering leadership team as we get into territories of more and more complex problems, and at the same time also accelerating some of our development. So we've just announced our key hires, including our head of AI, VP of engineering, and a head of engineering as well. So I hope that in the coming quarters you get to see not just better support, but also better features and faster iterations on the product itself. Let's maybe talk very briefly about some of the recent launches that we've done. As you guys know, we are in free beta, so we prioritize the feedback rather than charging people a few dollars. And in the last quarter itself, we have about 3,000 plus feedback points, which really helped us shape our roadmap. Some of these features that we launched recently, until 6 months ago, we didn't even have it on our roadmap, which I think is a testament to how our community can influence our roadmap. And while we cannot do everything, and I'm sure some of you may be disappointed at times that we can't launch things that are important to you, we try our best and we will keep continuing to do so. Recently, we launched a couple of key features, including a design optimizer, because we realized while getting on call with some of you to help you with the Locofy process, we realized that we spent a lot of time optimizing the designs manually. And this was one of those examples where after seeing that key pain point, we decided to launch a feature that can help you clean up your designs a little bit, clean up your frames, bad groups, apply auto layout and constraints, and make it ready for better production quality code. And the adoption of this feature has been mind-boggling, and we look forward to your feedback. Another feature that was requested by engineers, especially serious engineers who are looking to iterate and not just build a one-time product, was to have a deeper integration with GitHub, where we launched a three-way code merge and a conflict resolution center as well. And while after launch, there was a period of instability, I think for a week or 10 days, which we apologize for, but we've managed to completely stabilize it, and the recent feedback has been great. And we look forward to hearing from you on how we can take it deeper and further. Auto tagging is a feature we launched last year, and it was very well received. We've just did a major upgrade where the accuracy of auto tagging 2.0 has up to tripled. And by this year, and we plan to go towards real auto tagging, which means rather than just give you recommendations, we will just go ahead and do the tagging for you, saving you very valuable time, but still allowing you to kind of change any decisions made by our AI. Similarly, auto components was another feature we launched earlier this year, which has tripled the amount of users and the amount of components being built on Locofy, and has saved people a lot of time. Great feedback and a lot of feedback on how to iterate. Please expect a lot of iteration in this area, especially when it comes to building just components or design systems, props, states. That's top of our mind, and it's a top priority for us as well. We also launched some support for Expo users through a snack integration and also direct deployments onto GitHub pages itself. This is on top of the Vercel and Netlify integrations we did last year. So, of course, we hope to do more, and we will continue trying to speed up as much as we can. We've hired some of the best engineers out there, so we hope that the upcoming launches you see a change. One of the biggest things coming up in the next couple of weeks itself is a new improved flow itself. We realize that the Locofy plugin and the builder, although they get the job done, sometimes people get confused and they go straight for that view code button. Who doesn't want to get code, ASAP? But it also means that you may be missing out on certain steps that can guarantee better code. So with the step-by-step flow, we've just kept the functionality exactly the same, but we've given a better flow which will inform you at the right place. What are some of the steps you can take and in which order? This is coming in the next week itself on across React, React Native, Next.js, Gatsby, and HTML, CSS. Components manager is another one. We want to basically give you, the builder is basically all about your screens and components. But for a lot of engineers and designers, they're building, managing, and collaborating on just components or design systems. So we are going to be launching a Locofy component manager where, irrespective of which project you're working on, all your components across all your projects and documentation can be built and done, and also then pushed into Storybook. So we'll let you export like a story file to be used in Storybook and vice versa. And we're super excited about getting your feedback on this. Expected in the next couple of months, I would say. More tags is just basically hygiene. There's a lot of tags that we haven't supported in the past, like tables, grids, accordions, across libraries and custom. We will get this going in the next couple of months. And like I mentioned earlier, real auto tagging is basically our end goal when it comes to tagging HTML and semantic tags, right? So once we have the accuracy levels up to the mark, and we have also verified that with your acceptance of the recommendations, we plan to get it to a stage where you don't have to do anything on tagging, but we'll still give you like a trail where you can go in and see the decisions made by AI and overwrite it. There's a disclaimer down there. Of course, like I said, with the new fundraise, we are accelerating on after the leadership hires. Now we're looking at hiring more engineers and also around the world, so we can provide you 24/7 support. But some of the most requested features like Vue, Flutter. I know there's a lot of engineers who requested for Flutter, and we did communicate. We were trying to do it in the last year, but unfortunately, I think, or fortunately, the feedback from the React and React Native and Next.js communities has just been mind-boggling, and we plan to now finally get you more design tools like Sketch, maybe Penpot, UISArt potentially. A lot of you have requested for that, and also getting Flutter, Vue, Angular. I think Vue we might be able to launch next month itself. We've already started work on it. Flutter would potentially be end of this quarter or early next quarter itself. So yeah, really excited to get you these launches in the next couple of months. We will try and keep you updated, obviously, on the beta Slack community itself, and yeah, just keep the feedback bringing in. Like you are influencing our roadmap in many ways. Anything that you think can be helpful for you and also helpful for the whole community, we are all ears. And again, thank you so much for making us better on a daily basis. Over to Anurag for the community updates.
Yeah, so thanks, Ani, for wrapping up the product updates. And now we will be going over the community updates. So as a way to thank the community members, we have launched some initiatives recently, so that, and also we are ramping up our efforts to stay more in touch with the community and our users. So some of the community updates that you are seeing over here are the initiatives that we have launched recently. So the first item over here is Locofy Awards, which is our way of appreciating creators and builders who are using Locofy and they have made it into their workflow. And the second update that we have, that we are actually more focusing on right now, is making sure that whoever uses Locofy, they have not only a pleasant experience, but also that they turn out to be a Locofy champion, a Locofy advocate. We are ramping up our efforts more in that direction, and we have a couple of case studies in pipeline as well to prove that. So we have case studies with Gecko and Reg, who are one is revolutionizing the dating scene, where the other one is a non-profit organization helping people to actually re-anchor the society. The third update that we have is a lively community, which is actually we are dedicating more time right now to make sure that you get a response very fast when it comes to any questions that you may have, not just limited to Locofy. And we are also right now providing much more personalized support. This includes that if you are being a part of the community, you might have already seen, uh, you might have already come in contact with me, and you might have already come in contact with Chris, with other members like Abhishek and Jacob, where we are actually hopping on one-on-one calls with you and making sure that you have a smooth experience built in with Locofy. Finally, we have the React Nexus event. So to ramp up our community efforts, both online and offline, we are also collaborating with the largest React community in India, and we will be going a talk as well as a workshop over there in July, and we will obviously keep you posted as well with updates regarding that. Finally, before going on to the webinar section of this call, I will like to quickly mention that anyone can participate in the Locofy.ai Awards initiative that we have, and they will have a chance to win thousand US dollars worth of Amazon gift cards. So now let us move on to the final section, which is generating live previews with Locofy.ai and Vercel. So this will be like a typical webinar that you guys are already accustomed to, and I'm pretty excited to actually show you how you can generate this live previews, what this live previews mean, and also we will see how practical are they, like should you generate them, what's the benefit of it. So for this live previews, I have actually built a sample application over here, and this is a very simple application because the purpose of showing you this was not to show you how you can use Locofy, but rather how you can incorporate Locofy and Vercel into creating a very powerful CI/CD pipeline. So over here, you can see that this is the app that we have, and I'll quickly preview it. So you can see this is very responsive as well. So in this call, I won't go over how you can make it responsive because we have covered it multiple times. However, I will give you a quick overview of how we make it responsive. So first thing that we did, we actually have auto layout throughout our design file, and because Locofy actually builds on top of Figma, so if your designs are responsive on Locofy, if your designs are responsive on Figma, they are also responsive on Locofy. Another thing that we have done is that we have also even added custom CSS properties. So with Locofy, you can even add custom CSS properties and custom styles. So for this frame, if I go over here, you can see that we have some of the custom properties over here, which allows us to make it responsive even for smaller screen sizes. Finally, right now, if I go back to the preview, you will see that nothing is interactive right now. And we will use the auto tagging feature over here to quickly suggest some tags for these things. So this is one of the features that Honey recently he announced recently as well, and our head of our AI team has been working towards as well, and in the future we will refine it even further. So this is the auto tagging 2.0, and you can see this is already showing us that the signing button is not tagged right now, and it should be tagged with a button, which is correct. So I'll accept it. Okay, click on them. And if you click on the tag section, it even shows all the elements that have been tagged with Locofy. So now if I go back to the preview, you can see that we get our cursor changes, which means that it is being recognized as a button. Okay, so for this demo, I'll just create a new project. I'll choose Next.js and I'll call it something like CC app, community call app. I'll go with the default configuration for this. Now let's view the coding builder. So this is the part where I'll show you how you can push your code to GitHub and deploy to Vercel. In the later section, we will actually see how you can extend the code, and we will go back, make some design changes, see Locofy's GitHub integration, which was mentioned a couple of minutes earlier, and we will see how it couples up with Vercel. So let the Locofy builder load our app. Yep. Okay. So so just as you log it in Locofy Builder, you will see the Yoko components feature, and this is again a feature that we launched recently, and this will automatically suggest you of elements that you can convert into reusable components. So over here, it already identified some stuff for me, and it even created the props. So for the props, I agree with all of these props. However, I will name it product name, and I think I'll name it description. Yep. And then I'll accept the 3 instances. It even detected the header, which is good, give section, accurate, and finally we have the footer. Awesome. So this is the code. Okay. And this is the live preview, by the way. You can click on view prototype. You can even share the prototype. So this is the Locofy builder, guys. And right towards the left, you can see that we have all the frames over here. As you move towards the center, you will see that we have the prototypes as well as the code that's powering this prototype. So this is not a static prototype. This is actually running on live code. Finally, on the right side, you can see that over here, there are some options to configure props and create components. Up at the top, you can see that you can easily switch between different breakpoints. And over here on the right side, we even have the option to directly deploy to Vercel, export, and finally the sync option. So in our case, I'll quickly sync it with GitHub, and then we will connect it with Vercel. Okay. So it's logged in. And now let's create a new repository. I'll call it CC app only. So by default, when you're creating a new repository, everything is pushed to the main branch. Awesome. So now let's go to the repository. Okay. Now we will actually launch it on Vercel. So I'll click on add new. I'll go to project. And this is the CC app. You can see it was just right now modified. So it said just now. So click on import. Then I'll click on deploy. So this is how you can quickly deploy your GitHub repositories with Vercel. Locofy actually also offers a one-click deploy with Vercel Netlify and GitHub pages. So we will wait a couple of seconds for it to deploy. In the meantime, guys, feel free to drop in and ask us any question. We have the webinar chat and QA open. So it's building our next app and looks like it's done. Yep. So now if I go, so this is the URL that Vercel has assigned us, I think. Yep. So this is the URL, like a global production URL, and this is the URL that's specific to this very deployment that we have. Okay. So now what I'll do, I'll quickly go over here, I'll copy this and I'll clone it in my local repository. Yep. Okay. Then sorry. I'll quickly open it in VS Code. Now I'll use PNPMI, PNPM as a package manager, but feel free to use NPM as well. Both work pretty nice. So first of all, I'm installing the dependencies and then I'll extend the code and show you guys. So it's already done. Awesome. As you can see, this is running on live code. This is Next.js, by the way. And if I go back over here, you can see that the components that we created are actually being reused for these product tags that you are seeing. And the appropriate props are being also identified by Locofy and passed here. Now, one thing you will notice is that right now we don't support direct API integrations. As Hani said, this is something we are working towards. So for now, I'll just quickly extend the code manually. And you can see this is just like if I pass this code to a friend of mine, he won't be able to guess if I wrote it or if it was generated by Locofy. So that's one of the things that a lot of community members are proud of, that they are able to ship production ready code with Locofy. So I'll quickly extend it right now and I'll paste some code. Okay. So what we have over here is that I want to show that the cards over here, they're actually fetching data from a database rather than hard coding into our code base, right? So for this, I already created a very simple database online, and we will just write a simple fetch API, fetch the data, and pass it to our product container. So I'll quickly use the function. Yep. Yep. So over here, you can see we are just calling, we are doing a simple fetch operation. Over here, it can be a complicated operation as well, such as a database, a proper database call, user authentication, and another such production level operations. But in our case, we are just doing a very, very minor database call. Finally, we are passing the props over here. So let's also accept it over here. So go back. Right now, just giving a type any. I know it defeats the purpose of TypeScript, but I don't want to waste time over here. So now let's paste it here as well. Now if I save it and go back, it's saying that the records are undefined right now. So let's reload the page. Okay. So now you can see we have this over here. And what I'll do, I'll comment this out because this is a static thing. We don't need it. Okay. Now, if I go back and check the responsiveness, you can see this is responsive as well. Okay. So this is how you can quickly create these components, and you can, even map over them, extend it. In our case, we simply called our database, we got the list of items, and we were able to quickly map over them and return this component that actually Locofy created for us. Now, what I'll do, I'll quickly commit these changes to GitHub. Okay. So I'll add something like extended code. And by the way, all of this is happening in the main branch. So automatically Vercel will pick up the changes. So I've already committed it. So let's just push it to our main branch. Now, if I go back to our Vercel page, if I go to deployments, you will see that it's already being picked up. And Vercel is actually quite fast when it comes to redeploying your app. So I expect the build process this time to be much more shorter. And another thing that we will notice once it's deployed is that the URL will remain unchanged for now. We will see. So this is not a live preview, by the way. Whenever you're making changes to the main branch, it automatically updates the production URL. Okay, so we got an error this time. Okay, so it's actually because by default, we are generating a static build and we are using Gex server-side props over there. So we'll quickly fix that. So this is the command that's causing the error. It's telling that, hey, this is a static app and it's building like a static app, but we have actually used Gex server-side props over here. So it's kind of confused whether we have a static app or whether we have a server running app. So I fixed it over here. I'll quickly recommit it. So I'll like something like fixed output, git push. Yep. Now if I go back, you can see it's already queued up. Okay. Yep. Now I'll show you the real magic of how Locofy's deep GitHub integrations actually opens a lot of possibilities with other platforms such as Netlify, Vercel, and how you can easily keep your design and coding sync with it. So it's again deployed. And if I go to the main branch again, like a main URL, you will see the main URL is updated this time. Okay, so just keep in mind this thing. And now this is good enough for me right now because I just pushed it. But say after some time, say after 1 month, the design team realizes that this is not good enough. We need to make some changes to the design. So for example, I'll just make a couple of changes over here. So I'll change the color over here to say green or something like this. And let's even edit the components because yeah, why not? So I'll select these components and let's just reduce the opacity by 50%. So it looks kind of gray. I'll do the same for all of them. I'll quickly change it out. Yep. And now let's also add some other items, So maybe let's also add another section over here. So I'll select a frame. Okay, selecting over here, I'll pull it up. Yep. So right now it's over here. I'll add some text over here right now. I'll add some like our products. Now let's make it responsive as well. So apply auto layout, make it fill container. I think HUD container is fine for this. Also, let's make it centered. HUD container. Yep, looks good. Maybe I'll just style it up a bit over here. Maybe give a little bit of space of 20. And let's also increase the text size to 36 maybe 48, yeah. And let's also change the font. So I'll show you how the global CSS also gets updated. So let's use another font, maybe a very distinct font. This is just for an example, guys. I'll just want to show you. I don't suck at designing so much. It just for a demo. So I'll go back. I'll again preview it in Locofy. It's always good to preview before syncing so you can correct the errors very quickly in Figma itself. So this is also running on live code. So this is what it looks like. It looks good enough for me. So I'll push again. Now we will see that how Locofy actually has a strong GitHub integration and how it helps us in generating preview URLs and why preview URLs are different from something like a live prototype. So I'll again, if you go, you can see the changes. Now I'll again go back. But before I sync, I'll quickly show you one thing over here. So Locofy actually detected that, okay, the component was changed. And instead of prompting us to create the same component again, it actually applied the same styles to all the components on our behalf. And this is the same component, by the way, the product container. So now I'll again push to GitHub. Okay. Now, instead of pushing into the same repository, I'll choose a new branch. I'll choose the base branch as main, and maybe I'll call it something like updated underscore UI. Now, instead of merging everything over here, I'll just create a simple pull request because I'm sure that there are no conflicts anyway. Like all of these are pretty minor ones. So these are actually signs that they have been modified. And because the Locofy actually is aware that the previous push was also from Locofy, so it will actually automatically merge these changes without you even interfering with them. So after creating a pull request, now let's again push to GitHub. Now remember that Vercel is also listening on our GitHub repository, so it's also keeping track of what changes we are making to it. So right now we have created a pull request, and Locofy is again providing us with a helpful URL. So just by clicking on it, you can see the pull request that was created. And you can see this branch has no conflicts with the base branch, and it is suggesting us that we should merge it with the main branch. But in reality, this is where like your team managers or leaguers, they will actually step in, they will approve it before it is merged with the main branch. So this is where generating live preview URLs will actually come into play, because right now, instead of them going into this code and figuring out like, okay, these are the changes, this is what it looks like, they will probably clone it in their local environment, they will run it. But it's not possible for everyone, right? If you are under a product manager and he's not so technical, then you have to set up the environment and stuff. And the best way to actually test it is to test it online where it's supposed to be. So now, if we go back over here, if I again go to deployments, you will see that Vercel was actually already listening for us and listening for whatever changes we were going to make. And it's already actually generated a preview thing. So I'll just zoom in over here. So you can see this is the production URL, like this is the production deployment, and this is the preview deployment that it had created. So if I'll just quickly go back, I'll look this up. So this is our main branch deployment. So you can see it's still with the old settings, old designs. But now if I go to this one, which case preview, and I'll quickly open it up. Awesome. Now you can see that this is the one which actually has our new design changes. And the crucial thing over here is that this actually also has our code extension. So not only was it able to just merge the designs that Figma and Locofy created, but it was even able to like maintain the code extension part. This was possible with Locofy's deep GitHub integration, and also because there was almost no conflicts in this case. But even if there was some conflicts, it would have been handled pretty easily. We even have some documentation on how you can handle these conflicts. But this is not where the fun ends, because now if I forward this to say Honey, or if I forward this to Shoaib, uh, the next step is actually that they will give feedback on this. So anybody can now log in, and anybody who even has a basic sense of design, they will quickly point out that our products, the font is very different, it does not match with the other fonts, and this is something like they cannot push it to production. So with Vercel, you can just click on comment, you can select this, and now this is like a live preview, by the way, and they can just comment over here that fix the font family, and that's it. So this is how you can generate those live previews. And a live preview is basically, I'm just wrapping up over here. So a live preview is basically something where your design changes are implemented, as well as your code extensibility part, the code extensions that you have done, they are also in place, and they both work in harmony as if it was a production branch. So I hope that going forward, this particular example, this will help you out with not only generating those live previews, but also it will help your team to make sure that whenever whatever you ship into production, it is exactly what you want to be in production. And live previews is one of those things that will help you get there to ship products that confine that actually meet your standards and also what your users expect. So this was all for the webinar side, and now we will be moving towards the Q&A section. So feel free to drop in any questions that you may have.
Thanks, Anurag. This has been like super interesting. I've learned a few things about Vercel myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, feel free to post any questions. Yeah.
So we have one of the questions over here, and it's regard to auto tagging. They are asking how accurate is it. Maybe Shoaib, honey, you can take it up.
Yeah, so I think thanks for the question. For certain tag classes, right? Like I think about 20 or 13 of them, including buttons and inputs, we've been able to push the accuracy to more than 80%. And right now we are kind of debating internally on whether we should get the accuracy of existing classes up, or should we cover the other classes that we haven't covered yet. So if you have any input on that, would be happy to take that feedback. But yeah, we are kind of leaning first towards getting some of the gaps filled, and then overall going for higher accuracy, because 80 to 85%, as much as we've tried it on like hundreds of designs, the results are actually pretty good. And at the same time, we're not taking the liberty to tag it on behalf of you. We are giving you recommendations. So every time you, let's say, choose the second most recommended option, we also learn from that as well.
That's nice. Okay. A user is asking, hi, I will like to know how easy it is to use Locofy with authentications like login. Maybe Shoaib, you want to take it up?
Yeah, so basically for authentication, either you have like your own in-house built authentication, or you are using some third-party library like Auth0, I believe, and you could also use Firebase, Supabase. But the first thing you can do with Locofy is you can export all these screens. You can design the login screen, sign up screen. But after that, you can use any of the SDKs like Auth0, Firebase, and then the integration has to be done manually. But in future, we are also planning on making it just drag and drop.
Is there anything they can do on the Locofy side to easily integrate it?
On the Locofy side, can build the UI. I think right now they can only build the UI, and then after that they can take the code forward and integrate manually. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I have another question over here. It's regarding somebody's asking, is the environment going to be open source anytime soon?
That's very interesting question. So we are still debating about that, but there are a few things that we want to make it open source for our users. For example, let's say you are, let's say you have built a nice component and you want to share it with the community, right? Let's say you have a sticky header or a carousel or a calendar, maybe you want to share it with the community. So that part we are like in near future, we will be making it open source. So anyone can bring in their own coded components to Locofy and then share with the community. So that's what we are starting with. By in future, we might consider other factors as well, like building design systems and open sourcing the design system aspect of it.
And this is a popular community question as well. People often ask, so component manager that we are actually planning to launch, how does it work with Storybook and what's the benefit of it? Maybe you can share some ideas on that.
So within Locofy, all the components are going to be in one place. From there, we can just click of one option, you can Locofy is going to automatically write Storybook stories for those, and yeah, we're just gonna make it easier to also bring in components from Storybook and also from Locofy to Storybook.
Okay.
Yeah, so the idea is that you may have already built your components and hosted them on Storybook. We can let you use them on your designs and vice versa, because Locofy makes it very easy for you to make components from your new feature designs using auto components or doing it manually with props. So we'll give you basically an easy place to manage those components. And like Sohaib said, right, like export a story file and then put them into Storybook. So there's like a seamless sort of integration of building, managing, but also reusing your components.
Okay. Sounds like it will really help the communicating reusability and maintaining large amount of libraries.
And I think to Sohaib's point, right, like that's the area where we see some possible options where we can go open source, especially because we've met a lot of engineers who spend a fair bit of time building components. And unless, you know, they, especially I think for companies, they may not necessarily be open, but individual freelancers and people in the open source community will be happy to share, right, and to learn from each other. I think the components manager could be one area that we also, quite frankly, have to learn how to you know, open source a part of the project itself. We don't come from that background, for full disclosure, but I think doing it for components manager would allow us to kind of learn and then see whether it fits into the bigger vision and picture. We're definitely open to it. We're not close to it. It's just it's not been top of the mind. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see another question about tables. Oh yeah, so tables is also one of the features that has been like most requested, and it is in our roadmap. I think within a month or so we are gonna support like tables, CSS grids. Yeah. Just to clarify, are you talking about like the tables in a library, like Mittal UI tables or Bootstrap tables, or just like the native table in HTML?
Of course, you can still extend your free trial. We will give you a feedback form. You can fill it up and you will get another 3 weeks of free usage.
Yeah, it's been like that since the very beginning, and we plan to keep it that way for until we are convinced that, you know, we can we've solved certain problems that we haven't yet solved, and then think about monetization. But at the moment, there's no limit to how many times you can extend your trial, but it only works with 3 weeks at a time.
Yep. Okay. So I'm also sharing some resources in the Locofy chat. So this actually includes the awards program as well that we have initiated for our community members. So feel free to share whatever resources, whatever apps you have built with Locofy over there, and you will stand the chance to win $1,000 worth of Amazon gift coupon.
Yeah, and I think we'll also share whatever work you've done on our community. We have more than 10,000, I think, followers and community across our Slack community, LinkedIn, Twitter. We often showcase products built by a community, and we make it about the people rather than Locofy. So if you think you've built something with Locofy, you can stand to win that award, but at the same time also get some visibility and some recognition on our channels. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's all for today, guys. It was really great to do the first community call, and we're really glad to have both the co-founders as well as some of the interesting questions over here. I hope you all learned something today, and this community calls will be done once every quarter. So I think the next one will probably be in August, and I'm already looking forward to it, to share exactly what we have been doing behind the scenes and revealing some of our roadmap as well. So see you guys, and the webinar, the community call recording will also be made live on YouTube shortly.
Thank you so much for everyone for your time and for your help and feedback as always. Thank you.